So are you afraid of becoming a cashed up wanker as a business owner? I was catching up with a friend of mine yesterday and we had a conversation around business owners who have already got to 7 figures or above and their biggest fear around building wealth that potentially corrupts them and turns them into a bad person. Let me share my thoughts on this and hopefully give you some valuable insights. So I think the biggest fear for most people when they're building wealth, because they feel that there's so many people out there that maybe don't represent their values around wealth creation. They're outwardly showy, they become egotistical assholes, they do all of these things that basically make them pompous pricks. And for these individuals, there becomes a significant resistance between where they are in their business and where they ultimately want to go, which is creating a level of financial freedom. And it's sometimes hard to reconcile with. I'm not sure if you've ever felt that feeling. Now, my belief is that money is a tool. It's basically an inanimate object and it'll take on the energy that you place upon it. So if you're already a bad person, it's probably going to make you a worse person. And if you're intrinsically a good person, it's going to make you a better person because it's going to allow you to go on and do bigger and better things. So the important thing to realize is that we can't think in extremes around money. We need to acknowledge the things that we don't want. We need to use that as an opportunity to kind of create our own guardrails and make sure that we don't kind of drink our own Kool-Aid. And two, we need to get clear on what we do want. So if we are going to be wealthy, if we are going to create financial freedom, what do we want that wealth to mean? What are the impacts that we want to have in the world? What's the kind of lifestyle that we want to live? How do we want to be perceived by the people that actually know us, not just kind of on face value? Because what we've got to realize is that when you've got money and people see that you've got money, they're going to make assumptions of who you are and what you're about. That's probably going to be the most challenging thing that you need to navigate. And it's about having enough self-esteem and confidence in yourself as a person to know who you are and to recognize that when certain people are judging you, it is on face value and that is not really a true representation of how you are perceived in the world. And that can kind of go both ways. So for myself, I realized the more money that I made, the less effort that I really needed to put into trying to appear in a particular way. It wasn't necessarily the money that was driving this change. It was the fact that I'd accomplished so many things. I published a number of multi-international best-selling books. I've created a number of multi-7-figure now, accumulated over 8 figures in assets in my business. We've served thousands of clients to help them build over 2 billion in combined wealth. I'm really proud of these things. And I come to realise that it wasn't the clothes that I wore. As you can see, I'm wearing like a cassowary shirt at the moment. I'm just heading to a speaking engagement. And it wasn't the car that I drove. I drive a Ford Ranger. It's nice. It's what we need because we live on a farm. We used to drive a Toyota Troop Carrier. We live pretty modestly. We live a great lifestyle that supports us. But we don't need to kind of go above and beyond to try to appear in a particular way in order to essentially meet societal pressures and norms. So the big thing to realise is that you may have this fleeting thought that if you create wealth, particularly if you are in your first generation of building wealth, if you've come from a blue-collar background like I have, past generations haven't had wealth, they've never been good with money, you carry a big responsibility because you are kind of walking an uncharted course. And that fleeting thought that wealth is going to corrupt you, it's going to turn you into a bad person, and people are going to judge you for being wealthy is going to be probably the biggest invisible ceiling that you need to conquer. So just recognise that just because other people have done certain things does not mean that you need to do those things. And I feel that wealth can be a true enabler. So if you are feeling those thoughts and you've only really seen instances where people have been kind of Scrooge McDuck and pompous assholes when they've created money, I urge you to go do some research and go and find case studies of individuals who have amassed tremendous levels of wealth and have done really good things with it, and start trying to create that balance between both of those possibilities, because both options are available. It's your choice what you choose to do with it. Let me know your thoughts.